Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. How you all doing? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is that you're doing. I hope you're having a good one, because that's what you want. But today I'm actually really excited because I've been waiting for this for a minute. I got home from work today, I checked the mail box and it was finally here. So I can finally sit my ass down and give you guys my thoughts, because I've been seeing so many people raving about this, so I wanted to try it for myself. I actually was not going to be purchasing this, but again, because I've seen so many people talking about it, I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna get it. I'm just gonna get it and see what the hype is about, if it's real, if people are just hyping it too much. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing today. If you're not subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to do that right now. Give it a like to the video if you like the video. I'm pretty much gonna be trying it out, giving you guys my first impressions, and we'll just see how it goes. So this is the little package. It came in another bag, obviously, from the mail. Just took it out. And this is what the little bag looks like. At the back, you have some cleaning instructions as well, and then no harsh lines, XO's Tati. If you guys have not seen my Tati Beauty eyeshadow palette review or first impression, you guys can go ahead and check that out. I'll put it up here somewhere so you can look and check out the video. But I mean, that eyeshadow palette is one of my go-tos. I have it sitting there, right there. You guys see it? Because it's perfect for every day. It's perfect for a glam look, it's just perfect for everything. So I really like it. So I just took out the two little guys from the bag. This is what the big one looks like. I'm sure you guys have already seen these everywhere, as I said, because they've been out for a minute now. I was just kind of late because, again, I was debating whether or not to purchase them, but then I was just like, you want them, just get them, just give them a go. So the big one, it does feel really nice and soft. It feels like a microfiber kind of cloth. It's pretty soft, pretty nice, nothing major. The small one, the heart one, is the cutest thing. It's it's more for touch-ups and not so much to apply a full face, in comparison to this one. This one is meant to be used on your entire face. I actually watched a new video that she just made, I believe yesterday or the day before that, and she went more in depth on how the product works, how to use it, this and that, because she hadn't really done that, because she had some things going on in her life, and that's totally understandable. Life happens, sometimes you don't have the chance to do things as you planned. But she did have a video up on her channel now, if you guys are more interested in looking it up and seeing kind of how it works, how you should use it. But I mean, it's kind of it's like any other beauty tool. I feel like it's pretty much the same idea, the same kind of concept. It's just a different kind of product. So we're gonna give it a go right now. We'll start off with primer. I haven't really used primer in forever. I don't really use primers anymore, but she does recommend using a pore filling kind of primer with this. So we're just gonna do what Tati says, So I'm gonna use this Matchbox Photo Finish foundation primer. With this, I'm just gonna start with the little tip to pick up the product, and I'm gonna really kind of coat the little part right here so that I can push the product in. I do have a bare face. I just apply moisturizer, some eye cream, and moisturizer. Other than that, nothing. So I'm gonna place this primer mainly on my T-zone and my nose, kind of where I have bigger pores, and I'm just gonna start kind of patting it on those areas. She also did mention in her video that she doesn't really recommend using a moisturizing kind of primer, because there's not really a point in using this with that, because she says it is going to soak it up more, because it's Like a moisturizing primer is a little bit more liquidy. It absorbs it a little bit easier than the silicone one or like the pore minimizing kind of one. So she did say, you know, for that, just use your fingers, kind of massage it into your skin. But for more pore filling kind of ones, you can definitely use the Blendiful. So yeah, there you guys can see it. It just kind of evens out the texture on your skin and whatnot. This does feel really nice and comfortable. Like it's spongy, but not as much as a beauty blender, obviously. But it's still not like super harsh on your skin. Like I thought it might be like a little bit harsh, like it would kind of hurt, but it doesn't, and it's pretty comfortable. Like I'm just folding it in half as a taco, and then I'm just putting my fingers and kind of using the pressure of my fingers to press the product in. I'm gonna use two foundations because the other day I mixed these two. I used the Healthy Foundation by Physicians Formula and the Maybelline New York Up to 24 Hour foundation, and the other day I mixed the two of them and I really like the finish, so we're gonna do that today. I'm not gonna mix like too much because I don't think with this product you're gonna need to go through a lot of product either, like a lot of foundation, because it's not gonna be soaking it up as much as like a beauty blender per se. I'm just gonna blend it with my finger. I guess I'm gonna dot it. I'm gonna dot it on the face on this side, kind of like that. I'm gonna use the same side that I was using with the primer. I'm just gonna go ahead and start blending this in. Yesterday in the video that she made, I saw her first going kind of like in a downwards motion, and then she began kind of patting it into the skin. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just trying to blend this side quickly because I don't want this to dry out and then leave like marks or anything. I'm gonna pick some up more on the actual Blendiful and just, I really don't want to overdo it with the foundation. Like I want to apply just enough, but not like a ton of product. It looks like super smooth. And surprisingly, like, I mean, these two foundations have like a pretty natural finish. The Healthy Foundation by Physicians is a little bit more kind of like dewy, but still not like super dewy. But I feel like I would have expected this to apply foundation a little bit more like matte, but I feel like it looks still like really nice and like healthy. Like you guys can see a nice amount of glow, and that's good. I do have a couple of red spots here. I feel like you can get really nice coverage with this because it's applying it onto your skin. Like it's not really, you know, sucking up the product. And it just feels nice using it. It's not like rough on your skin. It's actually really, really soft. And it's so good because you can get really down here and just blend everything out super nicely. Okay, right now, like looking at my skin, it honestly, it gives your skin a really nice finish, like kind of like an airbrush finish. Because with a beauty blender, like I feel like you can't really get this one. It almost looks like you have like a soft kind of blurred kind of like filter on your face, but I mean obviously I don't. And on the nose, this worked really well as well. Sometimes I struggle with foundation like sitting on my nose, like especially if my skin is dry, and it just looks so good. Like I have like a full coverage without it looking like super like heavy, you know? And I still have like half of the product on here. Like you guys can see there's still quite a bit of foundation, so I didn't use a lot. This is what the little thing is looking like right now. Let's move on to a little bit of concealer. I want to use a little bit more of like high coverage because I do want to do kind of like a full glam face. So I'm gonna use a little bit of the H Rewind concealer. I'm just gonna use a little bit of that. I'm not gonna use a lot. And then also the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo Concealer to kind of brighten. But first I'm gonna use the H Rewind one. So I'm just gonna use my finger, kind of dot that underneath the eyes and kind of on the center. This one is quite brightening, but I feel like the e.l.f. one is just like hella brightening, you know? So I'm gonna use the same side that I use for the foundation, actually, the little pointy guy, and I'm gonna blend that underneath the eyes. The only thing is this is not like super pointy, so it's a little bit hard to kind of, because it's round, if you guys can see, it's not like hella pointy, unless you really like, yeah, I mean unless you do this, like you really pinch it. But it's not as pointy as like a beauty blender, for example, but it's not terrible. Like you can definitely manage, but it's just something I'm pointing out. And this I'm mainly using to kind of conceal underneath the eyes a little bit. Just gonna build up the coverage a little bit right underneath here where I do have like most of the darkness. Wow, that looks so pretty as well. Okay, let's use a little bit of the e.l.f. concealer, just a tiny bit again, I said, because I don't want to use too much, like just on this area. I'm gonna blend that in quickly first because this concealer does dry pretty fast, so I'm just gonna use that to kind of highlight a little bit this center area. Okay, yeah, my like literally it just looks super smooth and it looks super nice. I love the way that it's looking. I'm gonna use a little bit of like a cream bronzer kind of thing. I'm gonna use the Physicians Formula Sculpting Bronzer. That's what it looks like. I actually did a video on a couple of Physician Formula products not too long ago, so I'm gonna use this bronzer today. I think I'm gonna, yeah, she kind of, on her recent video, she applied it on the back of her hand to kind of warm it up a little bit, and then she went straight on, I think. So I'm gonna try that. I'm just gonna use like some on the back of the hand. I'm just kind of warming it up on there. And then she actually went in and kind of squeezed it like this so that she had more control over where she was going to be applying it, and just kind of apply it specifically in those areas there. I don't know if you guys can see it. And I'm going to, oh yeah, start patting it right there. So because this bronzer is a little bit more on the warm kind of side of things, I'm not specifically just keeping it on the cheekbones, like I'm bringing it up as my bronzer, but I mean it's blending beautifully into the skin. Like it doesn't look heavy, there's no streaks, nothing like that. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. I'm I'm just gonna put a little bit more and then do the same thing. And because of the shape, it kind of like gets right into the area that you want to apply that bronzer, but it doesn't disturb the foundation, nothing. Taking some along the jawline. Sides of the nose. You know, just a little bit, not really contouring, but just adding a little bit of warmth there. And then I kind of use this whole section for the bronzer. So I'm just gonna go back to kind of like the foundation side and kind of pad all around it to make sure everything's nice and seamless and blended. Wow. Okay, I was expecting this to be good, but like this is like on a next level good, because it's like a perfect like glam kind of finish, but it doesn't look like too overdone or too heavy on the skin or anything like that. I think what we can do is set the face a little bit. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna apply a little bit of liquid highlight. I'm gonna use this one right here, and I'm just gonna use a little bit because with this you don't really need a lot, and I feel like with this I'm not gonna need a lot either. So I'm just gonna use a tiny portion kind of here on the side. So I just kind of, that's the good thing about this, you have a lot of control of where you are going to be applying products, and start applying it onto the cheekbones. Oh my god, I really like this product. It's just like so easy. Like I feel like I don't really have to fuss over anything, and it just looks gorgeous on the skin. Like it doesn't look like shit. Freaking gorgeous. Literally looks like I applied it with the finger. Like that's how smooth it looks. Wow. It's a wow. It's a wow for sure. Okay, let's try a little bit of powder. I'm just gonna use the Maybelline Fit Me powder. Just gonna put some on the lid like that, and I'm gonna use the other side. So I'm just gonna flip this little guy, and you basically have like another side. So what she was talking about in her video as well was like you can use this side for creams and then the other side for powders, which I thought was like, you know, it makes sense because you don't really want to be mixing the two. Kind of like the same thing that you do with a beauty blender. You know, if you are using kind of like a powder on one section, you're not gonna go in with more creams because that's just not, it's not gonna be very nice looking on the face. So I'm just gonna pick some powder up, and I also do notice that I feel like I don't have as much creasing underneath the eyes as I would with a beauty blender. So I'm gonna go in and apply the powder underneath the eye. This does pick up quite a bit because it's more of like a, you know, cloth, like a fiber. So I'm just gonna use this on the T-zone as well. Smile lines. And I'm just kind of pressing that powder in to the skin. Now again, you have to keep in mind that this is not like, the look that I'm doing right now is not like a really natural kind of look. So I am applying, you know, powder, bronzer, everything pretty much. I'm also gonna use that to kind of carve out underneath the cheekbone like that. I'm just gonna let that sit for a minute and then kind of brush it off. But yeah, I mean, on the lower, on the under the eyes, it looks really nice as well, and it just looks fully set. So That's exactly what I wanted. I think those were kind of like all the products that you could use. She did also say that you could use like a blush, like a powder blush. So let's try that. I don't have a cream blush, so we're just gonna use the Essence Blush Up, my fave. And I'm gonna use that on the same powder side, so I'm not gonna go back to the other side. I'm just gonna keep on this side. And I literally just dabbed in there like this lightest. It picked up quite a bit. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of pat it off on the back of my hand first. And I need a mirror for this because I don't want to over apply too much blush. Okay, so one thing with this is if you're not gonna be using like a cream blush, you need this like the tiniest amount on the sponge or on the Blendiful, because it does pick up quite a bit, even more than like a brush would. Like for example, for me, when I go with this, I pretty much put my brush in there and I just apply it. I also use kind of like more of a flimsy kind of brush, so it makes sense. This is the brush that I would normally use for like blush, so it doesn't pick up a ton and it just kind of blends it in there. Now this, it picks up quite a bit. It does kind of like blend it into the skin nicely, but you definitely just want to use a light hand, because if not, you can go overboard with the blush. So just keep that in mind. I think I did a good job anyways of blending it into the skin. Like it doesn't look patchy or anything like that, and it looks nice. The only thing I am noticing right now is that I'm looking a little bit powdery, which makes sense because I just, you know, I baked underneath the eyes and I pretty much applied a little bit of that powder all over the face. And that Maybelline Fit Me powder is a really nice kind of mattifying primer powder. So it makes sense that I look a little bit powderier, but if I was using a beauty blender, I feel like it wouldn't look as set and powdery as it's looking right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna apply a little bit of All Nighter to kind of help with a little bit of the powderiness. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is do my eyes, and I'll come back to kind of wrap it up. But right now, I mean, it looks really good. Like, really good. I really like it. All right, I'll be back in a little bit, okay? All right, guys, so I'm back. You guys can see I did do this eye look. I just filmed it. So it's been a minute. I think I've had this on my face, like my whole face, done for about probably like an hour, maybe even more, maybe like an hour and a half, because I was just sitting here kind of chilling and creating this eye look. But okay, so you guys saw I was pretty impressed with using the Blendiful. Like overall, I feel like this, it was super easy to use. I thought it was gonna be more difficult to use, but actually it wasn't. Like it was pretty easy. I feel like it's just kind of like common sense, and because I'm so used to doing makeup, like, you know, it's one of those things that I just love doing, so it kind of just comes, it's like intuition, you know, like you kind of learn as you go, but it's a fairly easy thing to get used to. I feel like I thought I was gonna make it even messier than it is, but I feel like because I'm kind of organized with how I apply things and how much I'm applying of things, so it wasn't like, you know, I was just going ham on my face or anything like that. I really like it. I think it works really well. Like it just applies the products onto your face beautifully. I applied everything on my face with just one tool, and I think that's what's so awesome about this, because you're not gonna be, I mean, obviously if you buy this and you like it, you're not gonna be using a bunch of products. And especially if you're like for like an everyday kind of thing, this might be quite useful. Although I have like I want to try it again, kind of doing more of like a natural everyday kind of look, because right now I have a full beat face, like as if I was going to like a huge event or something. I don't do this every day, so I feel like maybe for an everyday kind of person like myself, because I'm one of them too, but I feel like one of like this might not be not as useful, because you can still use it, but I feel like it's mainly approachable for those days where you really want to glam the F up, you know, like when you want to apply everything on your face, primer, foundation, cream contour, powder contour, you know, bake, like the whole thing, you know. I feel like this is mainly for those type of things, and it's awesome because you can apply everything with just this and also make it look like airbrush and just like beautiful. I mean, you guys can see on camera it looks beautiful, but even in person it looks beautiful. Like it doesn't look super cakey. Obviously it looks like I'm wearing makeup, because I mean I am. There's only so much you can do to, like, even if you apply like 10 layers of makeup, there's only so much you can do to make it look like you're not wearing makeup. But obviously right now, like, I'm wearing makeup, but there's still that flawlessness finish to the flawlessness, that I don't even know if that's a word, but that flawless kind of finish to your skin, which I feel like you don't really get with the beauty blender as you do with this. So yeah, it's a pretty cool product. Those are kind of my thoughts. Right now is currently 6:33 p.m. I'm gonna wear this makeup for as long as I can. And if I get oily, which that's another thing I wanted to mention, I feel like this kind of helps to keep your face matte or matter, you know, because when I apply my kind of foundation and everything with a beauty blender, it gives a little bit of moisture because of the fact that it's wet, right? But this, because of the fact that it's dry, it's like just the cloth, it definitely keeps things a little bit more matte. So I don't know if I'm gonna get oily, but I do want to try this one, which is the little heart, which she recommends more as like touch up or to kind of like pick up any excess oil or anything like that. So we might try this out later on in the day if, you know, I get oily or whatever. I want to take you guys with me to wash this to see how it washes and if it all comes off easily. And yeah, even though mine's not like super dirty, but still, you want to wash it, you know, you want to wash it. I usually try to wash my beauty blender after every use, or not after every use, but like if I used it the day before and I'm gonna use it the next day, then I wash it, because I don't want to keep bacteria in there or anything like that. Do you know what I'm saying? But my brushes, that's a different story. That's definitely a different story. Okay, let's go ahead and wash it up. Hello. I'm gonna try and wash it. On the back of the little Blendiful package, it actually says to machine wash and dry in a delicate laundry bag, or gently hand wash in warm soapy water. Rinse thoroughly and blot dry. Go ahead and just use some like hand soap. I guess you can use any kind of soap, so I'm gonna go ahead and just wet it first. Just putting it on there, putting a little bit of soap. Okay, so I'm actually struggling to get this whole thing off. I don't know if it's the soap or what, but yeah, it just doesn't want to come off. Like, you guys saw me scrubbing quite hard. Let's try a bar of soap. See if that works a little bit better, because yeah, it's just not working. So I'm just using bar soap. Seems to be working a lot better. It just doesn't want to come off. Like, do you guys see it? It's still quite dirty there. Okay, I think that's as good as it's gonna get. I feel like that took me longer than I would have expected. Like, and even then, it doesn't look like fully clean. I took out most of the excess water, but it still feels like, you know, feels wet. And then I saw her doing this on her video. She just kind of squeezed or blotted most of the water out. There you guys can see kind of like the mark of where the water was at. I'm gonna flip it and then do the same thing. I feel like it washed pretty okay, but it took me longer than I would have thought it would have taken. So yeah, we'll see how long it takes to dry. I feel like I got most of the excess water out, so that's definitely what you want to do. Like, if you're gonna be using this, you know, just try to take off most of the water and then just let it air dry. And yeah, I mean, it already starts to feel, it doesn't feel super wet anymore, but it does feel soft as it kind of dries. It does feel nice and soft again. So yeah, I'm just gonna let it kind of sit there and get dry and do its thing. And yeah, I'll probably check in with you guys in a little bit to let you guys know how this is doing, if I do get oily or whatever. But right now, like, I still look super matte, like pretty matte. Like, I'm not used to seeing my face so matte, because usually by this time I would have already kind of had some oils kind of come through, but nothing right now. So yeah, I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, I'm back. I don't want to ramble too much because this video is already going to be pretty long, so let's just not do that. But I wanted to hop back on here because I want to give you guys kind of like a full update on how the products were on my face. I did put this on my face around like 5-ish. Yeah, I think around 5, and it's currently 11:33, as you guys can see. So it's been on my face for about 6.5 hours, and currently I am looking oily, especially on my nose. I don't know if you guys can actually see it, but I do get oily throughout the day. That's like a normal thing for me. I felt like with this, it did take a little bit longer for me to get oilier, just because I did apply a little bit more powder than, you know, not the normal, because when you're going for kind of like a glam look, like how I did today, you know, I do apply quite a bit of powder. But I think it looks, I would say it still looks good. Definitely the oiliest part would be like right on my nose. Like, if I touch it with my finger, you guys can see like the oil just sitting on there on my finger. But the makeup is not like breaking apart or anything like that. I mean, it's only been 6 hours. Well, I mean, I feel like 6 hours is a pretty good time. Like, if you're gonna be wearing like kind of like a glam kind of face, like 6 hours is quite some time. But I didn't do anything crazy. Like, I ate dinner, you know, I was laughing watching a movie. Then I came home, back to my room, and I was editing a video. So it wasn't like I was doing anything major. And I feel like that's why my face is still looking, you know, pretty good. I washed the Blendiful with you guys, as you guys saw, and it's fully dry now. It's smells really nice. That's just random, but yeah, it's fully dry. It feels soft like it did at the beginning, and it's pretty much ready to go for whenever I want to use it again, which is pretty nice. But I wanted to hop on here with you guys mainly because if I did get oily, I wanted to use this guy to kind of get rid of any excess oil, or use a powder because she said you can touch up with this. So I'm gonna take my Maybelline Fit Me powder, and I'm first gonna use just the Baby Blendiful, to kind of go and tap off kind of like the excess oil sitting on the face, because she did mention that you can just kind of like tap off the excess, and like that'll kind of do, so you guys can see definitely a little bit of a difference. Like this one doesn't look as shiny, but I mean realistically, if you're gonna be touching up with this, you definitely want to use like a powder or something, right? So I'm gonna use a little bit of the Maybelline Fit Me, just using a little bit. You don't want to use like too much, and I'm just gonna tap, very lightly tap onto my T-zone. I feel like the makeup wore pretty well though. Like, even though it was more of like a full beat, like I feel like everything is still pretty much on my face, like how I left it. I have like hella glitter on my face though from that eye look, but on this side I just want to try it with the powder just like that, see if it looks heavier. I definitely feel like you first want to kind of tap off the excess oil and then add a little bit of powder on top if you want to kind of prolong the longevity of your makeup. But yeah, I don't know, I mean it looks a little bit heavy, which that could just be, you know, the fact of how many hours I've been wearing this makeup for. Maybe it's already kind of like not so good to be applying stuff on top. I mean, yeah, it just, again, it looks a little bit more makeup-y. Like it looks like I have a full phase of products, and that's not to say like this product is bad or anything, because I don't think so. Like it was a really nice experience, and the fact that I was able to do my full face with just that's awesome. Just all on that, you know. But yeah, I think I want to try it out again tomorrow. Maybe using like my everyday kind of makeup products and see how I feel about it, and then I'll give you guys kind of like an update. I'll probably do another video, kind of like an update video. But right now, I mean, I like it. I'm not, you know, mad that I bought it. I feel like it just works really, really well. It's a really nice product to use, and I want to keep using it to just kind of get the hang of it, because some products may work well with some, you know, beauty tools, some may not. So I want to definitely just kind of keep playing around with it. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you guys have tried it. What do you guys think about it? Do you guys, you know, enjoy it? Did it not work with your routines? Because there's so many people that have so many different routines. Like my routine may not work for you, and your routine may not work for me. So it's entirely kind of like personal, right? So yeah, let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to know, and I'm gonna keep using it. I'm gonna keep trying it, you know, just kind of experimenting with it and seeing what works with it, what doesn't work with it. And yeah, I also want to try without a primer, because I feel like primers just add on a layer that you don't really need. I feel like sometimes it just makes your makeup look a little bit cakier. So I want to try without a primer. But that's for another video. I'm gonna go. Need to wash my face off, shower, go to sleep, because I'm freaking tired. Alright. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.